So I don't know if you've noticed this recently, but Roblox is kinda big. Its player base and value as a corporation is gigantic and steadily growing, to the point where it literally breaks almost every weekend now as a result of hundreds of thousands of players all flocking in to play the update of some massively popular game hosted on the platform. And with such a big outreach on the internet comes a lot more potential for silly or noteworthy things to happen on Roblox and get co-opted by the fanbase into inside jokes and memes. Now, Roblox isn't just big, it's also old, having been publicly released all the way back in 2006, which I'm sure is before many of you were born. I was actually only 2 years old at the time, and you'd better believe that if I could tell my toddler self one thing, it'd be to hop on the computer and make as many different entries to the Domino Rally building contest on as many different alts as possible. But we're getting off topic. Because of how old Roblox is, there have been many different inside jokes and memes about certain aspects of it that have sprung up over its nearly 20-year history, becoming so well known among the player base that they've sort of become integrated with the player base, shaping how it's developed even to this day. Maybe you've wondered before why the classic Noob avatar is so widely known and recognizable as a new player, or why the community is so captivated with this hat, or why so many people around the early 2010s seem to want to blame a guy named John for everything. And in that case, this video is for you. Today we're going to be taking a look at the most well-known and influential memes in the history of Roblox, including their origins, their history, the various spin-offs that many of them generated, and where they're at today. Without further ado, let's get meming. Yes, that's right, we're kicking things off with the oof sound, probably the most widely known Roblox-related meme of all time. The reason it's first on the list, however, isn't just because it's the most well-known, but because it's actually the only meme on this list to have existed well before Roblox was even created. The YouTuber HBomber guy actually made an incredibly well-researched and in-depth video essay about this sound that you should go watch if you really want the full story, links in the description, but in the interest of time, the long and short of it is that the only reason it's in Roblox is because Roblox accidentally stole it. It was originally created for a game from the year 2000 called Messiah, where you play as an angel who can fly around, possess people, and sometimes accidentally hit walls, at which point you make the iconic sound. Later on, in 2004, by which point Messiah had already been largely forgotten about by most people, someone ripped the sound from the game and put it on a stock CD of supposedly copyright-free sound effects, which the founders of Roblox then bought for use in the platform. It ended up being used as the default death sound effect, which meant that anyone who played Roblox would hear it whenever they died, and as we already mentioned, Roblox's player count would go on to swell to outrageous numbers, so millions and millions of people would inevitably hear it. That, combined with the fact that it was admittedly pretty goofy sounding, would allow it to easily take a spot in the internet's upper echelon of meme sound effects, and become iconic all across Roblox as well. That was, of course, until 2020, when the CEO of the company that originally made the sound finally found out about its use, got mad that Roblox wouldn't give him all the money he wanted for it, and had them take it down. It is truly sad that the oof sound was removed, because it really was iconic. Even nowadays, many people can't really hear the word oof without thinking of Roblox. It's just become that intertwined with the platform and the internet as a whole. But in all honesty, we should just be glad that the oof was the only casualty of this copyright debate and none of Roblox's other stolen sound effects were taken down. Because they have a lot. You might already know this from Toasted Cherries' video on the subject, but the sound design for the original Roblox was essentially an absolute cobbled together patchwork mess, with nearly all of the original sound effects having been taken from other places online and sometimes slightly altered. The Bloxycatzy sip sound was taken from a random free sound user, the guy saying pizza sound effect is from Sound Bible, the ghost booing sound effect was a sound used by Disney in the early 20th century. I could go on. But the important part is that a lot of these sounds are, just like the oof sound, extremely popular memes now because of Roblox, even being used outside the context of Roblox in certain cases. I'm sure that at the time they used these sounds, the founders of Roblox could never have imagined that the platform would be at the level it's at today, and now that it is there, I'm fairly certain that if the owners of these sounds knew exactly how much mileage their sound had been getting out of Roblox, they would maybe want a bit more than $2.49 out of them. Good thing they'll never see this video. I hope. If the oof sound is the first most iconic meme, then the Noob avatar definitely takes a firm second place. The Noob has sort of become the mascot of Roblox at this point, generating tons and tons of artwork, hats, games, and even serving as the literal base default avatar Roblox saddles you with sometimes when it can't figure out how to load your normal avatar in-game. However, I feel like for those unfamiliar with the character, its name might generate a bit of confusion. Noob, otherwise known as newbie, is internet slang for someone who's new at something. An inexperienced player, someone viewed as stupid and unworthy of respect. But the Roblox Noob is kind of treated like a god now. We've got Buff Noob, a hulking behemoth of a man that could steal your girl just by showing off his back. We've got Mecha Noob, a bundle that most people only know is a very obviously fake way to knock off the headless head, but at its actual size would be absolutely terrifying. We've even got games like the Day the Noobs Took Over Roblox series, in which a gigantic horde of noobs literally takes over the entirety of Roblox and establishes a new world order. That's not even something that most regular players can do, and you're telling me these are noobs? How did this yellow-skinned, blocky character even end up being the symbol of new users anyway? Isn't the default character you get when you create create a new account, the Bacon Hair? Well, it turns out the reason that this makes sense hails all the way back from 2006 when avatars looked a lot different than they do now. Roblox is called Roblox for a reason. Canonically, the old avatars were meant to look like plastic toys made out of blocks and were never supposed to resemble actual humans very much at all. They were mostly just trying to rip off Lego, honestly. Nevertheless, this was the design that the Roblox team came up with, and it became the basis for all future Roblox avatars. If you chose to stick with this basic avatar and not add any hats or clothing when those were later introduced, you would be seen as too inexperienced to afford them and therefore a noob. And I guess this particular torso variant just so happened to be the one lucky enough to stick in people's minds as the image of a noob forevermore. By this point, the noob avatar as we know it today is oddly enough more popular than it was when it actually signified noobishness. It's sort of been reclaimed as this beacon of goofiness and memery, and its simple default nature means it's easy to include it in things like art and games. And yet, people still can't seem to get the goddamn colors right. Please just take a screenshot of this guide here that Reddit user SpawnPoint made. It details exactly how to make a noob avatar. If I see one more noob that looks like this, I'm gonna have to punch someone in the ribs. And I don't want to do that. I'll hurt my hand. Hats were first introduced on Roblox at the very end of May of 2007. They were pretty conventional when they first came out, mostly just copying the concepts of hats that already existed in real life, like top hats, fedoras, cowboy hats, and more. But that was boring, and it wouldn't take long for things to get off the rails pretty quickly. Arguably the most stark example of this would be released on July 1st, 2007, just around 1 month after hats were first introduced, when some genius at Roblox HQ cooked up the infamous Bighead hat. As the name implies, the Bighead is nothing more than, well, a big head. From the moment this thing was released, people loved it, partly because it allowed them to seem like they'd changed their head shape, which wouldn't become possible until 2009, and partly because it's just a funny looking hat in general. There are a couple of weird things about it, namely that for some reason Roblox decided to have its face be this scrunched down, pointy mouthed face instead of the actual default smile from the time, and also that the skin tone they chose for the head was a color that wouldn't actually be available on the platform until 2009, but people didn't really care that much. A day after the Bighead was created, the platform was blessed with an even greater and more powerful entity, the Biggerhead. With its bright red skin tone and menacingly huge size, 3 times bigger than the Bighead itself, this being was an incredible sight to behold, and together the two massive craniums ruled over the Roblox catalog with an iron fist. Until they were both taken off sale. They would come back periodically over the years in special sales though, and in May of 2022, the Bighead would actually go limited, which was very cool of Roblox. Even though they were off sale most of the time, the community never forgot about how goofy they were and used them in all sorts of meme avatars whenever they could, and they became strongly associated with the oof sound, because let's be honest, this does sound exactly like a sound that this thing would make. They would also go on to inspire the Despacito spider meme in 2018, which was a massive thing on Roblox for a while. I remember seeing this little guy practically everywhere a few years ago. There was an entire simulator game built up around the character that was incredibly popular, and Roblox even copyrighted its design and turned it into an official egg hunt egg and a toy included with the meme pack. And it all started with just these two hats, the spider legs accessory, and a Roblox high school screenshot. Also, in 2019, the UGC creator Terabyte, who actually worked on a bunch of official accessories for Roblox in the past, created a limited time hat called the Biggesthead, which is blue and just absurdly huge. It also unfortunately doesn't use the iconic Bighead face, so I don't think it really counts as part of the series, but it was still a very interesting hat nonetheless. Back in 2008, Roblox was still a very new platform, and it didn't have nearly as many users as it does now. Not everyone wants to give out their private information to make an account with a brand new service they don't know, and sometimes people want to test the service out before they commit to it. So in September of 2008, Roblox rolled out the Play as Guest feature. By clicking the Play as Guest button, people could play Roblox even if they weren't logged into an account. Roblox would just create an instance of a male, female, or default guest character wearing a black Roblox jacket, jeans, and a cap with the Roblox logo on it, and have you play as that. But don't be fooled, Roblox's end goal was always to have more people creating accounts, and as such, guest functionality was restrictive as heck. For one thing, the only way guests could chat was with Super Safe Chat, which was a feature that existed in the mainstream until 2014 and could still be accessed through a command until 2016, where the only things you could chat with were words and phrases from a menu of approved words and phrases. After this feature was removed, Roblox didn't bother changing that requirement for guests, meaning that they couldn't chat at all anymore. Also, in June of 2017, Roblox started only allowing users to play as guests for a short trial period, and once that trial was up, users would have to make accounts. This was sort of a death knell for guests. Internet users were getting more and more used to the idea of being forced to make accounts for things, and it was becoming more and more commonplace for guests to be used in things such as exploits and ban evasions. So, in October of 2017, the guest was officially killed off, leaving only a non-functional cookie called guest data deep in Roblox's files as a sad reminder of what once was. Oh yeah, and also the tons of memes and art made out of him. The guest character has grown to become somewhat of a Noob 2.0. Its simple, relatable outfit and its iconicness across the platform, considering that most players started as guests before creating accounts, has led it to be easily copied, altered, and personified countless times. Just like the Noob, it's generated a ton of fan-made material dedicated to it, including games, accessories, art, and much more. It even has its own creepypasta associated with it. Guest 666, a bloodthirsty killer who wanders the land of Robloxia, killing all who dare to insult him by flaunting their actual Roblox accounts in his face, which he will never be able to replicate because he's just a guest. He'll only ever be a guest, and he'll never be able to be like them, or something. I don't know. I've never read it. When you first joined Roblox and went to customize your avatar, what did you do? Odds are you probably went to each category of Roblox accessory, sorted by lowest to highest price, and tried to come up with the coolest combination of free accessories you could find, resulting in an amalgamation looking something like this. But in this journey, you most likely came across two of Roblox's free classic faces, Chill and Check It. Believe it or not, these faces actually used to cost Robux, with Check It costing 4 Robux and Chill costing 3. But these prices were so low that in March of 2009, just 3 months after these faces were released on the catalog, Roblox decided to just bite the bullet and make them free. The easy accessibility of these faces, coupled with their very weird look and the fact that they're most commonly found on the avatars of people probably born after the phrase check it stopped being cool, made it very easy to laugh at these faces and turn them into memes. Apparently, the Chill face in particular used to be a very popular meme in the YouTuber Flamingo's community, and there are still members of his community today trying to keep the meme alive, as signified by this group, the Cult of Chill Face, with over 18,000 members. It's also very common for people to edit these faces onto the faces of pop culture characters and other memes, which has produced some pretty cursed results, but hey, at least that's the most cursed these memes have ever gotten, right? On the morning of March 27th, 2009, Roblox players across the world woke up one day to find a strange, new, and most importantly free hat on the catalog known as the Mysterious Purple Box, free for the taking. Telamon, aka Shedletsky, the former creative director of Roblox, announced its arrival with a blog post urging people to get it, as it would turn into an exclusive item that would never be offered again in the future. It was clear that something weird was going on with this box, not just because of its mysterious nature and weirdly simplistic design, but because very soon after that announcement, it would straight up change color. It was now the mysterious red box, and not the kind that you'd forget you rented from for a month and then have a $1,000 late fee come in the mail. Please tell me at least some of you got that joke. If not, I'm gonna feel really old. People kind of freaked out about this. Nothing like it had really happened before, and Roblox was acting really mysterious about it, leaving cryptic clues in the item's property page that could be accessed through Roblox Studio, like makes sense, it's always been red, and I can paint with all the colors of the wind, there are 64. It definitely left people speculating, and even stranger, while they were wondering about that, the box would change colors yet again to yellow. A few people noticed that this color sequence drew parallels with the color sequence found in the Jester hat, and thought it might be a sign of an upcoming April Fool's prank, since April 1st was really close at this point. But just when they thought they'd figured it out, the box went insane. It turned into Telamon's zany, mysterious box, and each of its faces had a different color and a picture. There was a dog, an umbrella, a cake, and a keyhole, as well as a question mark at the top. Additionally, it had started making quacking sounds for some reason. What the heck was going on? Well, almost no one figured this out ahead of time, but the first letter of each of these words read in order spells the word duck. And if more people had figured this out, they might have been ready for the coming of the one, the only, Epic Duck. April Fool's Day was upon us, and for the entirety of that day, epic ducks rained down from the sky in almost every popular game on the platform. Ultimate Paintball, Sword Fight on the Heights 4, HSD2, Roller Coaster Tycoon, Mining Tycoon, Build to Survive a Worm. No one was safe. They crushed anyone who dared stand in their way. Nothing could possibly stand up to their strength. And only after April Fool's Day came to an end did the ducks mercifully leave. All in all, the Epic Duck prank was really fun, and people appreciated the Epic Duck a while after it had gone. Keep in mind that this was 2009, so basically anything that involved a normally small, harmless animal in a weird situation was hilarious at the time. But the outrageous idea of every game on Roblox being overtaken by these giant, seemingly innocuous rubber ducks was a whole other level of insane to people. Just like the Noob and the Guest, the Epic Duck received a healthy supply of fan-made games, art, and accessories surrounding it, as well as its very own phrase in Roblox's quick chat feature when that was a thing that read, "Te Epic Duck is coming." The meme isn't as popular now as it was back then, aside from its use in classic outfits, but in 2020 it actually ended up trending on Twitter out of basically nowhere, which just goes to show that even though it might have gone for now, Te Epic Duck is always coming. Picture this. It's Christmas morning of 2009. Families all over the world are playing their favorite Christmas movies, opening presents, baking cookies, and joking around with each other. Snow is falling, houses are warm and bright, and everyone's having fun. And a Roblox forums user named Blocko is complaining about the poor optimization of a 15 Robux gear. Why did Roblox have to make the new Christmas gear spam the workplace with welds? I mean, come on, if you're a gear maker, the least you can do is put the welds in joint service, but no, you have to be all special and put it in workspace, possibly lagging the game. If I were a gear maker, I'd put the welds in joint service. The gear he's talking about here is the bag of Christmas tree seeds, which was on sale during the Christmas season of 2009 for 15 Robux. It spawns blocky Christmas tree models wherever you click, and apparently these models are held together entirely with laggy welds, which isn't so much of a problem for the Roblox client nowadays, but for the 2009 client, yeah, I can see how this might be a bit of an issue. It turns out that this was a pretty widely known problem, and as a result, this post gained traction, with many other users agreeing that this was a poorly made gear. It gained so much traction that an actual Roblox staff member had to weigh in.
Hey, I just thought up the concept. I didn't make the gear. Blame John.
The John he's referring to here is John Shedletsky, the former creative director of Roblox. When he worked there, he was one of the most beloved staff members on the team, constantly interacting with the community, creating fun games to play, and generally being witty and relatable, with such hilarious quotes as, "Oh hi, help me pwn these interns, K thanks." Him being so well known and also in such a high position of power meant that it was very commonplace for Robloxians to think that he was behind literally everything that happened on the website, and if something good or bad happened, he was to blame. This had been sort of an unspoken inside joke among the community for a while, but once XLegoX here dropped that "Blame John" quote, they suddenly had an actual phrase to attach it to. It was very quickly picked up, laughed at, and spread outside the thread, and in just 4 months it became widely known as a common slogan to use when discussing the failure of the 2010 egg hunt, which is a whole other rabbit hole that we don't have time to get into. It would be attributed to hundreds of other site problems over the years and even spawned a tie and a protest sign gear featuring it, as well as the iconic shirt that Shedletsky wears to this day. You know, looking back on it, it was pretty silly that we thought one well-known Roblox admin was behind practically everything on Roblox, but it also seems kind of fun to just pick out one person to take all the blame for when things go wrong. We should bring that back. So, if this video doesn't do well, I'm blaming Elon Musk. Watch your back, Elon. I feel like there are a lot of internet-wide memes that many people who weren't on the internet in the late 2000s and early 2010s associate solely with old Roblox and think are old Roblox memes. This is because these memes have generated accessories and games that are integrated into our view of classic Roblox today, despite the fact that these memes were actually already widely known at the time of their use. Roblox knew that kids loved memes, and they did their best to pander to that. The kids thought it was funny, and Roblox got a huge paycheck from them without having to pay anyone for usage rights, because once an image became a meme, it was basically public domain at that point. Everyone wins. Well, actually no, there was one incident that did land Roblox in a bit of trouble. On April 9th, 2010, Roblox uploaded the hat LOLWUT. It was a pear with a giant open mouth in its base. You may think this was just made for the weirdness and randomness of it all, but it's actually a reference to a meme that was popular on 4chan at the time, featuring a 2006 surrealist DeviantArt painting called The Biting Pear of Salamanca. If you go to the DeviantArt page for that painting though, you can see that the artist was well aware of the meme and said she didn't mind that people were having fun with her work as long as it was non-commercial and nobody was making money on LOLWUT merchandise. Well, most Roblox hats aren't exactly known for being free, so that became a bit of a problem. Fortunately, the hat would be completely changed just a couple of weeks after its release. It's now called LOLHOO and features an orange with the same type of realistic mouth that the pear had. This actually turned out for the better because LOLHOO would go on to gain a pretty strong cult following on Roblox and became the first in a very strange series of fruit and planet themed hats that people still enjoy collecting to this day. It was also a favorite of annoying orange fans for obvious reasons. But there are still so many memes floating around in old Roblox that were just straight up plagiarized from other places on the internet. The epic face is an extremely popular one, as well as the troll face, which while not an exact copy, is still pretty blatant when combined with the name. You might also notice while looking through old item descriptions and forum posts that the term Lazors is often used, which isn't actually a Roblox specific quote, but instead a reference to the Shoop to Woop meme. It's important to remember when looking at old Roblox that a lot of the funny stuff we see is just silly Roblox specific randomness, but it's also heavily influenced by the internet culture that existed at the time. There are several memes that were suggested to me and that even I thought of for this video that I just couldn't include because they weren't actually from Roblox at all. Roblox is just the place from which Roblox fans know them best. Roblox 3.0 is the official name for the movement that Roblox began in 2012 to start modernizing their avatars. The old blocky body types were becoming boring and unexpressive. Roblox wanted to give players a way to start getting more detailed and realistic with their avatars, and the first step to doing that was giving them a more detailed and realistic body type to choose from. So they toiled away for months, creating dozens and dozens of mock-ups, meticulously fine sculpting each little body part to get it to the exact right proportions and style, running rigorous experiments, constantly gathering feedback, and when the time was finally right, they unleashed onto the world this. And believe it or not, people didn't like it. Roblox 3.0 bodies are scary. Once these things come out in the catalog, that's it. I might do what the other veterans do. Quit. I mean, who wants to see these things in games? They look creepy. It looks like Blockland people. People will mistake Roblox as Blockland. Don't make it. We want Roblox 3.0 to be deleted. They are bad and lead to oh dears, which target on helpless innocent children. Copy and paste this to start a riot. Roblox 3.0 gave me cancer and diabetes. People were upset about these things for a lot of reasons. They thought the increased detailedness would lead to more online dating. They thought that these avatars were even more of a blatant ripoff of Lego than Roblox was on its own, which they were. But most importantly, they're just really dumb looking. No other character in the history of ever has had proportions as whack as these. There's a weird mixing of completely straight and completely rounded surfaces going on, and I could go on a whole other rant about their faces, but I've already done that in another video. To make matters worse, in 2014, Roblox decided to make every new account spawn with one of these packages depending on the gender you selected. Along with these packages, you would be wearing a free shirt and a free hair, which everyone immediately correctly identified as looking like bacon, thus earning it the name Bacon Hair. This got people even more mad. People saw it as Roblox getting upset that people weren't liking their 3.0 bodies and tried to force them on everyone, which to some extent was probably true. It was a widely detested decision for a while, until as many internet dramas do, it had existed for so long that it just kind of became reluctantly accepted as the new normal and fizzled out. But then, weirdly, over the years to come, the scales would start to tip in the complete opposite direction. 3.0 had become the default for all new Roblox accounts right as the creation of new Roblox accounts was starting to ramp up drastically. That meant a lot of people were seeing how goofy it looked, and as you should know by now, when a lot of people are all at once exposed to something goofy, it is very likely to be turned into a meme. Just like the chill and check it faces, people started editing the man and woman faces onto pop culture characters and items, and a following started to build up around the bacon hair characters. Before we knew it, art was made, games were made, accessories were made, and thousands of meme avatars featuring the characters were swarming Robloxia. It wasn't long before the bacon hair characters and Roblox 3.0 bodies as a whole had achieved full meme status. It's crazy how relatively quickly we as Robloxians can go from absolutely detesting a new feature to making it into a platform icon. This is a pretty simple one. Roblox staff member Sorcus used to be known across Roblox and especially the Roblox forums as a notorious troll. Basically someone who takes every opportunity possible to cause undue chaos and insanity. Keep in mind though that this is the early 2010s we're talking about, and most people's idea of unhinged insane trolling was a little bit tame by today's standards. Examples of Sorcus's trolling included starting a 15-minute countdown before the supposed start of the 2013 egg hunt, but then not starting the hunt at the end and instead saying trollolo, changing the title of the 2014 egg hunt game to say that the hunt was started 2 minutes, but then changing it to the word nop instead, joining a random game because he knew everyone would follow him, having game engineer and resident troll of Roblox as his About Me blurb on the Roblox blog, having a custom icon next to his name in leaderboards of a troll, wearing a shirt that says feed me in reference to the don't feed the troll saying, implying that he is a troll, saying I graduated from troll school, high honors. All of this wretchedness and depravity solidified Sorcus as the most well-known troll on Roblox, to the point where for a while, trolling and Sorcus were synonymous with each other to some Roblox players. Unfortunately, since no one really cares about the Roblox admins nowadays and the forums are dead, Sorcus has pretty much moved on from trolling at this point. But at least we have his historic blog posts about the beginnings of his fantasy lore groups to remember him by. God damn it. Around the start of 2014, Roblox uploaded a 50 Robux hat called the Holiday Crown. It seemed pretty innocuous at the time. After all, it was just a ring of leaves with a few multicolored spheres sprinkled in it. For a while, it just kinda existed, selling a measly 13,000 copies a year and a half after its release. But as time went on, something shifted in the Roblox community. I'm not sure if we'll ever know why this happened. Maybe it had something to do with the new release of R15. Maybe it coincided with other fashion trends that existed in real life at the time. Maybe it was just a case of mass hysteria. But for whatever reason, out of nowhere, the Holiday Crown started blowing up. It was rising in sales and popularity super quickly, and it wasn't alone in this either. A very specific type of outfit was quickly gaining massive popularity on Roblox. The bodies were Robloxian 2.0, the boy package, or the woman package, often with one arm and or leg being from the Frost Guard or skeleton packages. Wings, specifically the ones using the black wings mesh, were extremely popular, as well as tail accessories if the Robloxian had a bit of closeted furry in them. For girls, the clothes had to be some sort of skin-revealing top and jeans, and for boys, exercise clothing branded hoodies and sweatpants. Some sort of mask, usually the bear mask, or glasses, usually the nerdy glasses, was required. Faces had to be smiling and couldn't be classic looking. But most importantly, alongside the optional sister accessory like the paper hat or the obvious spy cap, you had to wear the Holiday Crown. These types of avatars were often referred to as E-dators, or as a funnier and more family-friendly name, which is why I'm choosing to use this name instead, salad hairs, because of the fact that the Holiday Crown looks like a salad. And I'm gonna be honest, back when I joined in 2016, I thought these people were the coolest people on Roblox. It was mostly because of the Frost Guard arms and legs. I thought those looked super edgy and cool, and I wanted them for a while, but fortunately I had no Robux to waste on them, so that crisis was averted. Nowadays, the salad hair avatar is mostly dead, replaced with slenders and CNPs. which are so much better. The salad hair is only brought up nowadays when someone wants to point and laugh about how stupid we were as kids and how silly the avatars from that time looked, which is valid. These avatars really don't make any sense, and it's good that they're gone. However, what they unfortunately left us with is something arguably worse. Oddly, Rthro had pretty much the exact same origin story as Roblox 3.0. Roblox were trying to make avatars more modernized and detailed, so they decided to try making a new type of body, and instead ended up making something that isn't even close to a Roblox avatar. I'm pretty sure the reasoning behind this move was that Roblox really wants to seem like a AAA game. They're constantly trying to push the boundaries of what their software can do in order to make it as powerful and cool looking as possible, and while that is great most of the time, that's how we grow as people, I think Rthro was a little bit ahead of its time. And the reason for that is because the proportions are absurd. If you apply an Rthro character to your avatar, there's a 5% chance that it'll look interesting and a 95% chance that it'll look like a squashed down little goblin. The reason for this is that in order to effectively use Rthro, your character needs to be as tall and thin as possible, which most people don't really like having to do. But if you don't do it, it'll look like your character got hit by someone using a giant mushroom in Mario Kart. And even if you can create a natural looking Rthro avatar, the other thing to consider is that this does not look like a Roblox avatar at all. There's just something off about it. It feels like it comes from some sort of obscure Roblox competitor that promotes on TikTok and has exactly 71 players in its servers at all times. Unlike the other so bad they're good avatars I've talked about in this video, this isn't so bad it's good, it's just bad, and Roblox players rightfully meme and joke about it all the time as a result. Rthro users are about 3% serious and 97% memers at this point, I think. Whether it's for tiny glitch avatars, random abominations, or other things, Rthro has solidified itself as a pretty popular component of meme avatars, but for all the wrong reasons. Alright, enough about avatars. Time to close us off with what might truly be the best meme to ever grace the land of Robloxia. Gert. Gert's first ever appearance was in the 2018 egg hunt during our quest to collect the treasured egg of Wonderland. The moment we locked eyes with him, I think we could all tell that he wasn't any ordinary pig. He was different. Our quest was to make him sneeze and rescue Now Do the Harlem Shake from him so Harlem could attend a tea party. After that, we sadly had to say goodbye, but we knew that that wasn't the last time we'd be seeing him. At one point later on in the hunt, we discovered movie posters advertising a movie he apparently starred in. But alas, we apparently arrived too late for the showing, as there was only this random couple on stage by the time we got there. This couldn't be it though, there had to be more. We had to see this beautiful being one more time. And if we were clever enough and managed to put all of the pieces together to get to the secret 15 egg dimension, we were able to get that chance. At the end of the obby there, Gert, now sporting a long, flowing white beard as a reflection of his true wisdom and power, finally revealed himself to literally be the god of the Egg Hunt 2018 multiverse. We finally knew why we had been seeking Gert out so much along our journey. He was our creator, our life's purpose, and once we had gotten that initial chance to experience his greatness, it had reawakened our soul's deepest desire to connect with him one last time in his true form. And now that we had, we were finally at peace. Gert's made a few other appearances in some pretty significant places in Robloxia to remind us of his presence. During Hallows Eve 2018, Roblox's Halloween event, he appeared in costume in several different areas throughout the map. At one point in 2019, a new map called Mirage was added to the 2018 Egg Hunt game, and in this map, a skeleton that seemed to belong to him was found, but we knew that this was just another costume. On April Fool's Day of 2020, Gert attempted to connect with us in a game he knew he'd be well suited for, Piggy, but unfortunately we weren't able to play his chapter. He made up for it during the 2021 Bloxy Awards, where he allowed himself to be captured and shown off in a capsule for our amusement. He hasn't made an appearance in his true form since, but he was gracious enough to perform one last miracle for us before his indefinite absence. During the 2018 Summer Tournament event, he managed to gather all of his power in order to cast a small portion of himself into a shoulder accessory to be on the Roblox catalog, keeping watch over us all, forevermore. Well, thanks for sticking around. This video turned out to be a lot more work than I thought it would be, and I still didn't even cover everything I wanted to. Originally, this video was going to be just looking at Roblox memes in general, both past and present, but that would have taken way too long to make. I'm sure this video also took way too long to make, but at least you learned something, I hope. Anyway, that's about it. I've been Nitrolord, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!